Like it's done?
That's it.
Oh, that's it. What's up, y'all?
How's it going, guys?
Hey, guys. Clayton is frantically finishing his fringe. Because we decided that we needed to fringe up this bag because we're using some really fun leathers today. We've got this like suede printed Navajo. I took a picture. Hang on. I have the item number for you guys.
Navajo something?
I think it's called Navajo something. But I can tell you in a moment. It is called the Navajo Gold Fusion Suede. So this super fun, up camera maybe on the back of, nope, not that one. It doesn't look on.
No,
so we've got,
it's not.
Okay. See, Tony wasn't ready. He was a big fat liar.
We were hip hopping it up in here.
We were. So this really fun printed suede that we offer, the Navajo Gold Fusion Suede. And we figured, you know, if you're going to use some Navajo Gold Fusion, you need some fringe in your bag. Which we are making this one. Right here.
The Suburban Hobo.
The Suburban Hobo. And it's a hobo, so it needs some fringe.
Exactly.
All of this is falling into place. All right, so we're jazzing up this pattern a little bit today. We're going to do a run through of the instructions so that for those of you out there that maybe have gotten this and could be struggling through. This is an older pattern of ours, so it's not quite as refined as our new ones.
It's pretty old.
It's a little old.
I think that pattern was made about 9 years ago whenever I started.
Probably.
Yeah,
that sounds
like
about
maybe
right.
in the first year I was here.
Yeah, so, you know, it's, anyway, so we're using this. We've got the instructions here, but
Right, my fringe is getting kind of wonky, so I'm going to let you do the other half here, Liz, and we'll get started.
Okay, that sounds great.
I'm trying to see your fringe, but all I can see is your head.
Oh, well, you can see it right here. Did I mess it up?
That's coming apart. Yep, it's getting a little bit wonky.
It's got a little curl
soft
to the inside.
Yeah, I'll let you finish it up with the rotary cutter. That'd probably be a lot easier.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, the Suburban Hobo. We've got all of our pattern pieces cut out. Liz was kind enough to bring the pattern pieces that I cut out of bontex.
Got you all set up here.
She did. She did a lot of prep work for me. I just walked into the shop about 30 minutes ago, an hour ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, first thing we do, always glue down your paper to something a little bit more sturdy if you want to hang on to the pattern and reuse it. So we like to use bontex. A lot of people use it as a bag stiffener. Works great for patterns. So you've got your main bag part, you'll cut 2. You've got your tabs, D-ring strap hanger tabs, you'll cut 2. Your zipper gussets cut 2, and then your part B. It says cut 2, but it's a little deceiving. And I'll show you guys why here in a minute. And then your strap. That's the only thing that is actually cut 1.
I feel like the thing about instructions is you always read them all the way through first before you actually start.
Yeah.
So you kind of have an understanding of what you're getting into.
Yeah.
So that you don't just go step by step and then realize that maybe people make mistakes and there are things that need to be added.
And actually on a lot of our patterns, that is the first step that we write down is read all of the instructions before attempting this project.
Yeah.
So it's always good to have a little bit of foresight.
Know what you're getting into.
So I've got my 2 main body pieces here we cut out of our Sensation upholstery. Do you remember what color this was?
It's the honey. I have an item number. I took a picture of that one too.
Look at you. So I got those.
It's the Miracle, not the Sensation. So it's the one that's a little bit heavier. It is the Miracle Upholstery in Honey, 133-100-205.
Perfect. So actually Liz went ahead and got these cut out. We got them bell knived up here at the top. I bell knived in about a 1/2 inch because we're going to roll this top edge. And that is actually the first step that we're going to do. We've got basting tape right back here. So you can use contact cement or basting tape on this. I like the 1/4 inch basting tape because if you're doing a 1/4 inch rolled edge, it just gives you a nice guide to follow.
I have a quick question.
Okay,
so if I just keep cutting straight, I'm going to cut my thing off.
Curve into it, yeah.
Just curving?
Curve into it.
Okay.
Free-handed.
Okay. That sounds like fun for me.
Don't you remember that fringe video we did?
Yeah,
Yes?
I do.
Okay.
You've got credentials.
I didn't do it. Denny did it.
Oh, okay.
I observed, as I always do. Oh, that one's going to be sketchy. This little fringe may not last. this little piggy situation.
So did we schedule out this bag to take 2 videos, or?
I believe we did.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get it done in one.
We might have a surprise random video that Clayton's going to do on Friday. Because you're the only one here for that. So if you don't do this one in 2, you got to come up with something else.
Okay, so maybe we'll stretch it out. I don't know if I can come up with something else.
You could practice working on that little canteen thing. Just see how that goes.
I've got a pattern that I've been working on for that briefcase that Rusty likes.
All right.
And so maybe I could like wing it on camera and figure it out. See if that would be interesting.
It's like, yeah, you could do Clayton's R&D session.
Yep. You guys can sit around and watch me make mistakes. Or more mistakes,
So
rather.
that's all we get, because that I didn't do that, but it's got a cut in it.
That's all we get?
That's all we get.
That's all we get.
I don't even know what just happened here.
Take it off there.
So a couple additions that we're making. Obviously the fringe is not in the pattern, but you know, if you have any bag pattern and you want to add fringe to it, just do it before you sew the bottom seam in. Just house it up in there. So that's what we're doing today. And then the strap, does it have you do a rolled strap in the picture? Just like one piece that's rolled in?
No, I don't believe so. It just calls for a 1/2 inch wide strap.
Okay. So we're actually doing a 3/4 inch strap because a 1/2 inch kind of felt just a little bit too narrow, and we're going to do a rolled edge strap with the fun Navajo leather in the middle, and then wrapped by some of the Miracle upholstery that we split down to about 2 1/4 ounce.
All right, so we get that rolled all the way around. And then the next step, so I'm going to try and do this as close to the instructions, at least as close to what I remember as possible.
I did bring those too if you're interested.
And so there's a couple things that you can do out of order if you like. There's our lovely instructions. So actually this isn't even the first step. I'm already off task. First step is actually going to be working on your flap, and so we'll do that next. That's all prep work. We're not putting any pieces together just yet. So on the flap, like I mentioned, part B in the pattern, I think it is. It says cut 2, but whenever you read the instructions, really you only need to cut 1 to shape, and this is actually going to be the inside liner of the flap where the clasp is mounted. And the reason that is they want you to mount the clasp on this inside piece, and then we're going to glue it down to your exterior piece and then cut it to its final shape so your clasp stays centered and is housed in between the pieces of leather.
Because especially if you're using a magnetic clasp, you don't really want those prongs on the outside of your bag.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we've got a rivet back magnetic clasp that you could probably get away
Oh yeah.
with doing that on. Just got my hardware ready for me. Nice. Alright, so I'll usually always do the male piece. There is no male piece on this one. They're both the same, aren't they?
I know Andy got those for me.
You got the low profile ones. So typically on your normal magnetic clasp you'll have a male and a female piece. And I'll usually do the male piece on the flap and the female on the main body of the bag.
But they do stick together?
They do stick together quite nicely.
Alright.
Alright, so using our pattern we're going to mark the center or where the clasp goes with the little hole. And then I'll take one of my magnetic clasps and I'll position the prongs just on either side of that hole to make sure the clasp is going to be centered. Make sure these are bent out straight. And then just making a mark in the leather so you know what to cut. If you have like a little chisel, it's usually pretty handy to just whack it with a single chisel.
I like one of our little finesse chisels.
Yeah.
Or, you know, if you sharpen down a screwdriver, you can use that too.
Exactly.
Cut
that side a little bit more.
how's everybody doing today? Everybody working on their projects? Anybody saying anything, Tony? Is anybody watching?
We're talking lightly.
Oh, good. Some light talking.
Light talking.
Light conversation.
Light talking, heavy watching.
Oh, good. Their rapt attention.
And I'm going to bend these prongs outwards. I find that if you bend them inwards, if you're lining it with a thin leather, you'll have a much larger protrusion from those prongs. And I'll just tap it.
Nobody wants a protrusion. It's no good.
You have to be weird about it.
I have to be weird about everything.
All right, so she cut this, so we'll have a centered pattern. We're going to try and make it match up, right? So what we're going to do is I'm going to mark the pattern a little bit. See if we can't keep this straight.
I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, but just as close as you can get it.
Oh, it's going to be perfect.
This fringe is going to hang so good. It's going to be real nice.
I knew you'd be excited about the fringe.
I don't think I've heard anybody ever say, oh, that's some grid hanging fringe you got there.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and mark around this pattern piece on the back of our exterior leather. And that way we know where to glue and where to stick it down.
So the matching of your pattern, just the angle that it was running, or matching it where it wraps around?
Just matching the angle that it was running on, and that way it's hopefully the same on both sides. That's what we're shooting for. Ooh, you know what? We might want some Tokenol to finish the edges. Do we still have that? Yeah, we still got some.
We got Tokenol or Toco Pro.
Nice.
Whatever you need.
So instead of gluing the entire face of this, I am just going to run about 1/2 inch around the back with contact cement.
Liz, did you get a number on that Sensation upholstery?
You mean the Miracle?
I do mean the Miracle.
Good, because that's what I have.
What's the difference between the Miracle and the Sensation?
The thickness of it, Tony.
We learned that last time.
We did. So the Honey Miracle is 133-100205. And then the number on the Navajo Suede is 62-0558. 62-0558. We're using regular zipper tape and the regular zipper pull. It's a little bit narrow in here, so Clayton used the wider one just to give himself a little bit more space on the inside of the bag instead of the narrower tape. So that's what we've got. We've got that one in brown. So that's very shiny. You can kind of see that. And then just all nickel hardware.
Yeah. I actually picked these colors out, these leathers, last night before I left. I was a little doubtful on pairing them up, but Liz reassured me that it was a decent pairing.
It's pretty good.
Let that cement get tacky for a minute. So we'll move on. We can go ahead and stick the D-rings onto their strapping or tabs. And where's our little pattern piece for those? I don't think you cut those to length.
I did cut them a little bit long.
Whoops.
Woo. Oh, Clayton.
I know.
Well, guys, we've got to
I pulled a Denny. Actually, I spilled something last week, too, didn't I? I spilled some paint last time we did that.
Oh, yeah, you sure did. Yep.
That's all right.
That was a thing.
I'll get it
not
used
the
up.
first time you spilled glue on the table.
No, it's not.
But I learned my lesson on the glue is you let it dry and then you just peel it away from the table. You don't try to scooch it around with paper towels and then glue your paper towels to the table as well.
It was fantastic.
That's what I did last time. And Tony had to clean it up after me. Sorry.
All right, so
I
I'm just
think it
going
was one
to...
of our first Twitch after parties that I cleaned it off the table.
Yeah, that's all right. So I'm just put some cement on either side so we can glue the D-rings on.
Did you get the 2 that match? You did. Good job.
And then we can go ahead and cut. The directions call for you to cut a tab to actually go over the end of the zipper tape. And so since we're using the regular zipper tape, I believe it's about 1 1/4 inches wide. Make sure here. Yep. So it's 1 1/4 inches wide. So I'm going to cut mine about 1 5/16, just a little bit wider than it. So you don't have the edges of the zipper tape poking out.
Man, Tony, could I just live stream from Wisa on Friday?
Yes.
Just walk around.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right, Clayton, we've got a couple questions. Little Fear wants to know if we used veg-tan for this purse, what ounce would you suggest?
Well, if I were able to pick any veg-tan, probably pick the Herman Elk Heritage veg-tan.
Annual interruption.
Yeah.
It's
Annual. More like
the
we only get paid once a year.
bi-weekly interruption. That's how we do it here.
That's how we do it, man. That's how
Hopefully
we
you
roll.
budget.
The new 2020 version of paychecks annually.
Annually. You're just going to get one check and
Dang it!
everybody will be really happy about it.
It could be one really large check.
We don't have any punches, do we? Alright. I'll just angle the corners on this. Call it a day.
Oh, right.
Rusty, you excited for your road trip?
Oh, man, you know, I'm stoked. I always love road trips.
Yeah.
You know, the first road trip I ever took by myself, I left from Fayetteville at about 5:30 and drove to Texarkana, bought a cup of coffee, a newspaper, got gas, and drove home. Took my entire paycheck to do that.
What were you driving?
I was driving a 77 Ford 4-wheel drive with a 351 modified,
Got like 10 miles to the gallon.
roughly.
Or less.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, are you driving?
Or less. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
No,
Have we graduated?
we've graduated,
Aw,
yeah.
that's exciting.
Kevin can be scary while he's lacing or playing the flute or any of those things.
Napping.
Yep.
Now, well, it's usually one of the 3, not necessarily all at one time, but crazier things have happened.
I don't know if I brought a thread burner with me.
We do.
Oh, look at that.
We got one on a leash for you.
I did, everybody out there, put in a request for Clayton to pick up a thread zapper at some point in the future to use in here, because I get a lot of questions about why we don't use that. And I just said, you know what, guys, because we all have lighters in our pockets, and that's just, that's how it rolls forever. Really, like the thread zappers, I feel like have always been kind of like this bead side thing that and then they just never really graduated to the leather side, even though they're pretty handy.
They are. But,
Yeah.
I mean, lighters do the job, and they're just a lot more versatile than a thread zapper. It's a lot easier to start a fire with one.
Which is always the most important thing.
Did you
Absolutely.
ask Wayne's question yet?
I didn't, but I'm going to.
Okay.
Clayton, what is the difference between Toconol and Toco Pro, or the benefits between each one?
Honestly, I haven't seen a huge difference. There was one leather, and I don't remember which one it was, that I used Toco Pro on, and it did something kind of weird to the finish on the top grain, and it was only with this one specific leather, but that is the only time I've ever seen a difference between the two. And it just kind of made it a weird color. I got a bit of the Toco Pro on the top grain of it. Otherwise, they've been pretty well the same, in my opinion.
We've compared them a couple times on Twitch. After we get done streaming, we'll hang out there because people have had questions. And I dumped them out on the table. And the Toco Pro is not as thick as the Toconol.
Right.
And I felt like it got to the burnish faster. But we're talking nominal amounts.
The Toco Pro did?
The Toco Pro did. And it's probably just because it was less viscous.
Yeah.
Could we do it live from Wisa on the Friday?
We can.
I think that was Liz's idea.
Sometimes they are a little bit weird about cameras, but depending on how we do it, like if we just did a little thing from... I have no idea what to expect. This is a completely different venue than we've ever been to before, so I don't know what I'm walking into. Otherwise, I could be like, hey, blah, we'll just sit in the lunchroom and we can just have a little live chat. But I don't know what's going to happen, so...
I'm sure you could get permission somewhere.
Like if I did a Zoom meeting with you.
Because we're going to...
If we did a Zoom and then I can put you in when we did that Zoom thing. We can just hang out with you as you walk around.
We might try to come up with something while we're there, because Chad's gonna be there with me, so he can help facilitate technology.
There's some grandma. Yeah. Well, we can do it until they tell us to turn the camera off.
Yeah. I mean, usually it's just like taking pictures of products, like individual booths aren't super excited about, but if we're just walking around, I don't know. We'll see if we can do something. Let's see here. What is Herman Oak Heritage and what's special about it? So Herman Oak Heritage is a drum-dyed upholstery version.
Hold on a second, Liz.
Okay.
Hold on.
Shh, Clayton.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm not sure how well you can hear. I don't have my headphones on. But...
So Herman Oak Heritage is a drum-dyed upholstery version of Herman Oak. It's already finished. It's actually water resistant as much as they can make it. So it's not toolable anymore. So if that was the reason for using a vegetable tan leather, what you might do, because this bag has to be turned inside out, it's just going to be a little bit difficult to do it with a stiff piece of veg tan that you've tooled. So you could do an inlay, you could do an overlay, you could put a pocket on the outside that's tooled, but the Herman Oak Heritage would be a really awesome leather, and we've used it in quite a few different videos. I know Clayton used it with a briefcase bag here a couple months back. I used it for some of my camera straps that I made a few months ago, and I know we've used it on a couple other things, but if you just look up Herman Oak Heritage on the website, I think we have it in 4 different colors: a black, a chocolate, a tan color, and then chestnut. So if you're needing veg tan for any specific reason other than tooling, it's a good option.
That would be an ideal veg tan to do this with. If you are wanting to make this bag and tool it, the main body would have to be something pretty light, at most maybe a 3/4, because it is going to get turned out and it's only 2 pieces sewn together without a gusset. So you've got a very tight seam.
I'm not really sure what I just did.
Me either.
Or really, if I was going to want to tool anything on this bag, I would probably go with like a veg tan patch on the front and tool that.
That's what I just said.
Did you just say that?
I said put a pocket on it.
Okay, put a pocket on it.
Yeah.
I said patch, whatever you want to do.
A patch that serves as a pocket.
Either way.
Pocket patch.
Or do the flat. Alright, so we got that cut out to shape. We'll sew around that here in just a minute. If we're following the instructions, we got the D-rings done, we rolled that. So next is going to be actually putting our main body panels together.
Which you're going to need me for.
I am.
To finish this up. Oh.
So I'm going to go ahead and start spreading cement around the perimeter on the finished side without
Dean wants to know, did you
spilling
just call
it.
Liz a goat head?
Oh, what a goat head.
Liz.
That's not something he would call me. There are many things he might call me, but I don't think a goat head is going to be one of them.
Like they're trying to bait us into a fight or something.
No baiting needed. Kids will be kids. It's a pocket. It's a patch. It's a pocket patch.
So, again, anytime you're doing a bag that's you're going to turn inside out, you want to be really careful when gluing these together on the finished side. So I'm going to try and keep to not gluing any more than a 1/4 inch into the bag, and that way when we turn it out, we don't have glue in the seams.
Ooh. Smart thinking.
Serious problem.
How difficult is it to hand sew a zipper?
It's not very difficult. I mean, the nylon webbing is easier to get through than leather.
It might be a little awkward, like, punch your holes, because you have to sew, like, this is your final stitch, right?
Correct.
This one? Yeah, so to, like, punch all of your stuff, I suppose, you just,
Is there other words that you want to use?
no.
Okay.
Tony, I don't know. It would just be a little bit awkward. You'd have to kind of finagle your, like, punching surface in there. I don't know, like,
Well, we got
I think,
small
like,
cutting
sewing-
board. Just stick a cutting board inside there.
yeah, but then you're gonna squish, and it's too many things, so you're gonna have to, like splay it out. and then try to punch it through.
It would be really difficult to do it that way if you're hand stitching it. What I would probably do is go ahead and before you glue in your zipper gusset, punch all of your holes around the top rim, and then glue in your zipper gusset, and then go back with an awl.
Get it all done.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Because once you glue in that zipper gusset, that's not going to be secure enough in there to really manipulate the bag enough to punch it on a flat surface without it coming apart. Unless you're really good at gluing.
We're not saying that you guys aren't really good at gluing. Just, you know.
It's a lot of prep work. Easy.
All right. Oh, okay.
More than a 1/4 inch.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Preferably less than 3/16, alright?
Okay.
Man.
I don't want my fringe to fall out.
It's gotta get sewn in.
You hope.
Alright, so we'll wait on Liz to get that glued and tacked up. In the meantime, I'm going to start on the zipper. So I'd cut a length of zipper. Leave it right over
Touch
here.
holes. Sorry.
What?
I don't know why we're having a yelling competition outside the door.
Oh, sometimes those things just have to happen. Look at that, I got a little glue on my zipper.
Oops. You might have more.
Look what I
Oh,
put
wow.
on.
Tony's wearing the belt.
Hey, nice!
Oh,
You guys are so cute.
hold on.
Okay.
Stand up there so I can adjust the camera. I don't even know what camera.
I did leather work this weekend, guys. I never do leather work at home. Almost never. It's rare. It's like a phoenix.
Like, that's some sort of Harry Potter reference.
Well, that's what I did while I made the belts. So
Look at them.
we have matching belts now.
It's like we got spots for little bullets.
Yeah.
For extra little holes.
Little bullets. Well, because Tony has horses, or he does horses for his daughters, because he's a good father.
Yeah.
So I found some fun buckles from the buckle guy that were like horse hoof picks that have been converted to just decoration.
They're cool.
Yeah, and I thought it'd be fun. So this is the green Herman oak that we used for the bowling ball bag here a few weeks back, and I made Denny save me a couple strips out of it so I can make some belts. I'll take this with me to Wisa and show it off.
That's pretty sweet. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and glue the tab onto the end of the zipper tape. And so make sure your tab is going at the rear of the zipper tape, or the rear of the zipper tab. Alright, so it's going to unzip this way. Make sure that tab goes on there. And make sure the bottom of your tab always goes a little bit further than the top of your tab. That way when you sew it, you're not going to fall off the back.
You don't want to miss the back.
So now that's ready to stitch. Your D-ring tabs. Got your glue.
I do.
That's pretty tacky. That'll work.
Okay.
So we're going to go ahead and fit that around one of these panels.
Hey Clayton,
Yeah.
on the edge of that of using the contact cement, could you use basting tape, or maybe the reason why you didn't choose basting tape for it?
On the edge of the main body.
Mm-hmm.
You could use basting tape. It's a little bit more to work it around the curve. I like to use contact cement because I can control how much I put on better than Liz can. So doing less than a 1/4 inch, I don't like to do more than a 1/4 inch seam allowance, right? So if you use 1/4 inch basting tape, you want to do at least a 1/4 inch seam allowance, maybe just a hair more, to make sure that you don't get any in the seam.
Well, and also what I found is with basting tape is that on the inside of your bag, you can't really get it out. Like you can kind of erase some of the glue off if you have some coming out of your seam, but it's really hard to get that tape out. And so you'll find like on the inside of a purse, it's no fun to have like basting tape just collecting grossness on the inside.
Right, that's true. All right, so I marked the edges where I think I cut this fringe to. It should come up to both of those marks. Silver marks right there. Yeah, that should work. Make sure it's even on both sides if possible. So we're going to start working this around.
Clayton did cut this fringe twice because he started cutting this one and then he's like, wait a minute, I think that that's wrong. So then he started cutting it the other way. But then he's like, nope, I think once I turn it inside out, the other way is actually going to be right. So we'll see how it comes out.
Right.
We're gonna find out.
A little indecision there in the last like 30 minutes. Alright, that's actually going to come up a little bit higher on that side. We're going to do this.
Got a huge shout out for Skylar. Somebody came in to retail. Chad did. Came into retail.
Nice. We'll
Wanted
pass
to
that
shout
along.
out to Skylar. He's done a couple videos here.
Yeah. He's a bit of a Viking.
So I'm going to cut off that last strand right there. That should get us about even.
I didn't glue the backside of it though.
Not yet.
It looks so fun.
It does, doesn't it? That's gonna be a lot to handle inside that bag.
Yeah.
Does that look even to you? Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, I think so. I
Pretty
think
close.
it's all right.
All right, yeah. You want to spread some glue on the back of that?
Sure.
If you get that done, I'll go ahead and head over to the sewing machine and sew these two things.
You do that. Can I actually use your glue? Because this one's a little thick. Thanks. We thinned this one out before we came in.
All right, we got the 26 back.
As always.
Do we use any other?
They can do everything. That's not true.
False.
Please
False.
call Clayton with your questions.
False information.
Cannot do everything, but it can do a lot. So we're just using 207, 138 natural bonded nylon thread.
Pedal stopper.
A little bit. I learned how to sew on a clutch machine in an old, I don't know, like a Singer, some sort of flatbed machine. I don't remember what model it was.
Is it Becky's old singer?
Yeah, it was. I learned how to sew on that machine. It was a clutch machine. So that's where the pedal stomping came in. I still get made fun of for that in the shop.
Let's say I don't think we've had that clutch machine for a long time now.
Yeah, it's a long time. It took a long time for me to get rid of it. Nobody liked it, except for Rusty. All right, so I'm going to sew around basically the curved side of this flap, the back that's cut straight. I'm not going to sew just yet because we will do that when we attach it to the bag.
I'm poking all that when you come back. What about it? Oh, square foot needed for this project. No, because it's really old. It really actually didn't take a lot of leather. Like, well, so sans the fringe, because if you use fringe, that's obviously going to add quite a bit. But just for those two panels, you know, you've got...
If you're purchasing leather to do the bag, I would say maybe 5 to 7 square feet.
Yeah, so you got 2 foot by a little over a foot for the bag panels, plus all the strap that you're going to need. So you need like 36 inches or a little bit less for your strap, depending on how long you want it to hang. So if you're going to make your strap out of the same material, you'll need to buy enough to accommodate that. So like 6-7 square feet
What would be a good way to communicate with us that you're making this, or you're making straps, or you're making something? Would it be good information for us to have?
It would be
Always is.
great information for us to have. So
Every
if
time.
if you're buying cut footage and you're trying to get something very specific out of it, and you have like the longest dimension that you need, that always helps us. If we know that you're trying to make a bag and you also need to include a strap that needs about 34 inches of length somewhere, we can make sure that when we cut your piece, or we can call you and say, hey, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to get this out of 5 feet, but we can get it out of 7 feet. So, like, are you okay going up the 2 square feet or whatever we need? Let me see that, and I'll finish the edges on your flat clean. Thanks.
Yep.
You want to see if we can break a record of viewers today? How many people are watching?
Ooh,
We're at 110 right now, which is
wow.
getting close to the high for a tutorial video.
Nice.
Not
What's
our
the
live
record?
shopping videos, though, because
I
we
know.
rock those live shopping videos.
All we just need is everybody to share the link. It didn't get the notification, and see if they jump in here.
Come on, guys. How we could give this away if we get to... Oh, do we know how... Can we find everybody that watches? Is that a thing?
Can we find them?
Like if we
Yeah,
did a
hunt 'em
giveaway
down.
for everybody that's watching, if we get up to a certain something.
Is that information recorded?
Yeah, I mean, I have all their names. I just don't have who they are. I'll have to ask the question. We'll pick somebody that's commented on a chat.
So what would be a record, Tony?
175.
175.
Denny and
Kevin?
Kevin's video.
Of course, everybody likes the old men. Sheesh.
So if you share it and we get over 175 total in here, we'll pick somebody that has commented in any of the chats, any of the live chats.
All right, we're gonna stitch this up.
We will randomly pick a name.
All right, so you remember we glued hopefully no more than a 1/4 inch in, so I'm going to set my roller guide to just over a 1/4 inch. That should work. And then hopefully we won't see any glue.
I feel like you're making tiny jabs at my gluing ability.
A little bit. A little bit. Glad you're picking up on that.
She's really good at finishing edges. Ask her to do that.
That's what I'm doing. That's what I got. Although...
So using the roller guide like that, Clayton, on a curve like that, are you pushing it or are you giving any pressure to the roller guide?
Nope. I am just letting it feed. So it's all about directing the piece of leather, you know? Making sure that your angle to the roller guide is not quite parallel, but leaning into the machine a little bit. To where whenever the walking foot comes forward, it's actually pulling it towards the roller guide just slightly.
Yeah.
And that'll keep it up against it, keep your single outs consistent, hopefully.
Marcus said he's back. What did he miss? Almost the whole purse construction.
I know, we're almost done.
Zero says he saw the back stitch, Tony. Clayton's all over. I don't have to tell him.
One of these days, Denny's gonna kill Tony with his backstitch questions. I know it.
I mean, he could pick many things, probably.
I think I do more machine stitching than Denny does.
Do you?
I think so.
I feel like
I've seen you
we
answering
could
a lot of
record
emails
hours.
lately.
What's that?
I said I've seen you answering a lot of emails lately.
Yeah, that's...
You did that with the Class 26?
You could probably get them done faster.
Oh.
That was a thing.
What?
I don't know. Well, I mean, especially like when your arm was all broken.
That's true.
Typing was a little slower than normal.
Yes, I answer a lot of emails. That is most of my job. Thank you guys.
You're welcome.
Thank you guys for your emails out there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and trim away some of this seam allowance up at the top. Just a few inches down, kind of taper it off. And you can trim it off all the way around the bag if you want to. But mostly just right up here at the top corners. So we're going to flip this inside out, and I'll show you why that's important here in a minute. All right, you'll notice I haven't sewn this rolled edge right here. And that's going to come into play whenever we attach the zipper gusset as well. So let's go ahead and turn this out and see what this fringe looks like.
Hopefully it's okay.
Oh, you know what? I just remembered we forgot to do one thing, but it's not that big of a deal.
Pull the little tab on the inside.
Well, we
I'm a
forgot to
little worried.
install our other side of the clasp on the main body of the bag.
Oh, we can handle that.
Yeah, that's not a big deal.
I feel like we're gonna have to trim up those little edges.
That is fringe.
That's right. Yeah, we can trim those down a little bit.
Joanne
Look at that.
says this is one of her favorite patterns, a great seller for her.
Good.
Good deal.
I'm super glad to hear that.
She probably noticed it right off that we forgot to install the clasp. Look
Look at
at
that.
that.
Yeah, we'll trim up those
Nice and
little
straight.
extra bits. Woo! Good job. Did it. Success.
Kenneth asked, do we give classes?
Denny does a tooling class every Saturday. We don't currently have any other classes besides the ones that Denny does with his tooling, but he has a beginner's and an advanced, intermediate to advanced tooling class. You'll spend a whole Saturday with him, and you'll learn stuff.
I'll tell you what, if we would have,
Probably tooling and carving.
I bet you if we would have installed that magnetic clasp on one of these panels, we probably would have had it backwards with the fringe.
That's, yeah.
I bet we would have.
So it's a good thing that we didn't.
Exactly. It's a good thing we forgot. So I'm going to compensate for this rolled edge and overlap the pattern. Get it centered as best as possible. That'll work. So same thing I did on the flap. I'm just going to mark these prongs so I know where to cut. And then we have a small piece of cutting board.
We do.
That'll work.
How was the gluing that Liz did?
Everybody wants to know my judge.
Yeah, we're going to check that out here in a second.
Do you need a smaller piece of
I'm sure I'll be able to
cutting
find
board?
some. Smaller piece of what?
Oh, no, you got it. Sorry.
Find some issues? You're sure? Definitely going to be some issues in there.
Oh, I'm sure I can find something. Some glue somewhere.
Clayton and I do have a long-standing tradition of critically judging each other's work. That's what our jobs have been.
It started with her criticizing my work for many years. Eventually, I figured out and joined into the game.
I don't love sanding this leather.
No,
No.
no. It's a suede. I wouldn't expect you to.
Yeah.
All right, not too bad. I think I was able to sew far enough in
To
to
catch all
cover
my
up
glue.
your glue job. Yeah.
Good job. Glad you were able to help me out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're looking good. Okay.
Sweet. Look at that. I love that.
I'll set that aside for a minute. Get our D-ring tabs and we'll start doing our zipper gusset.
Yeah, it just might be you, R&D in here on Friday, Clayton.
It might be. This strap is probably going to take us a minute, but we'll see.
Nice. Josh said that fringe made that bag so much better.
It did.
He's going to try the pattern out. I agree. The picture on the cover really,
Needed some help.
yeah, you know, I mean, it's black and it's a long time ago, guys. So maybe we'll freshen up freshen up this
Well,
picture
it'll
with
probably be
this,
It'll probably be this bag. Well,
with this one.
Yeah, that's
and the wax.
clearly like circa 2012. I mean, it's pretty old.
Yeah. This is much more hobo-y than that bag. I'm actually really excited about this. I think it's going to look great.
Good. Weren't very excited before that fringe, were you?
I mean, it was all right. It was a good toss, right? In my tokenol lid. But the fringe does make it a lot better.
All right, so on our two little zipper gusset strips that the pattern has you cut, I bell knifed one edge a 1/2 inch in so that we can do another 1/4 inch rolled edge across one side. So the pattern does a couple of weird things. One weird thing that it does is it will have you sew these pieces to the zipper before you roll these edges. Not really sure why. There's really no reason to do that. It's a lot easier just to roll these edges before they're on the zipper. And then the other thing, which we are doing the way the pattern said, and there is a reason, is we have not attached that flap yet, and your main body of the bag is already assembled, right? So now we're going to be sewing inside the bag to attach the flap. The reason the pattern has you do that is so that you can put the flap on the bag, attach it to the clasp that you mounted on the front, and then figure out where the best placement is going to be.
So that everything aligns.
Correct.
That's smart.
So you could get away with that after you make a couple and figure out just, how far down the flap needs to go and mark it and sew it on. And that would probably be easier in the long run. But depending on what thickness of leather you're using, how far you want the bag to open when the flap is closed, all those things, your flap position might change a little. Alright, we've got those stuck down. Got my zipper. So, we've got our zipper tab already stitched on. The instructions say to measure, I believe it's 1 3/4 in from the edge of the tab into the zipper tape. Let me just double check that so we're doing this right here. Okay, so yeah, we're looking at 1 3/4 from the inside edge of your tab. We'll make a mark on the zipper tape, and then 3/4 inch in from on the gusset. So I'll show you what I mean here. So 1 3/4 from this edge of the tab. We're going to make a mark on the tape, and that's where the edge of our gusset's going to go. And then on the zipper gussets themselves, we're going to make a mark 3/4 of an inch in. There. There, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And these are just going to be reference marks. Now we attach these to our zipper tape, and I am going to use a piece of, we got 1/8 inch basting tape.
Oh,
Yeah.
All the sizes.
Yeah. So let's stick that down to the non-rolled edge, or just the cut edge on your zipper gusset.
Hello?
Okay. Something's going on. Should really turn your volume off on your phone, Liz.
Uh-huh. You really should, Clayton. I always check mine.
It's funny when
Denny always gets a call
from aliens.
from aliens. The spam aliens. Did anybody else's phone update this week? Because mine just updated last night and I don't love it. I don't know, there's just a lot of changes and it's weird. Now I've got like little dots that appear when I send a text message that are like, oh, we're working on it. It was a lot of changes.
What are you talking about?
Good story.
My phone updated.
Yeah.
Maybe there's the other person writing?
No, it's like when I'm sending it, it's like until it sends, like it has like these like 4 little dots that like spiral now and then it'll send.
Okay, that's pretty important, but this is pretty important here. What we're doing.
Okay.
So the zipper gusset, the only thing that's tricky about this, the photos don't show it super clearly, but this is the way you stick it down.
You weren't saying anything for a while. I just thought I'd jump in with my.
Wow. Got the Diddy burn.
Yeah, so it's just tricky the way that this goes together. So you're going 1 3/4 in from the edge of your tab. You have a 3/4 inch mark here, which you're going to sew between these marks, but you just need to do the finished grain to the top of the zipper, right? And align it with the edge all the way down.
All the way down. So what was that again?
No. And really, I kind of made a mistake, but you don't have to talk about it. You don't have to have double-sided tape all the way to the edge. Really just between those two marks you made on the 3/4 inch on the back. So we can go ahead and take that out while it's easy.
Because you really don't want that, do you?
Yeah, you really won't need it in there. All right. So that's stuck down. So what I like to do is actually stick one down, go ahead and stitch it between these two marks that you made, and then we'll go ahead and do the other one. That way it doesn't start coming off and trying to fight two pieces on there at once.
It's like he just made one of these bags.
Oh, crap. No, yeah, I did. Okay, but I forgot one other thing. So this is the other tricky part to doing a zipper gusset. You're going to have the tab between the two marks, or at least just towards this side. And this piece of the zipper tape is actually going to fold downwards.
Well, this is important.
Yeah, this is important. It's going to fold downwards like this. So the actual teeth of your zipper tape need to line up with that 3/4 inch mark. So if you see it from the back, it should fold down at 90 degrees and should line up right there with your mark.
So it folds after the 3/4 inch line. Or right at.
Correct, right at. Yeah,
Okay.
so your teeth will be right at that 3/4 inch mark.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do, you can put a little piece of tape there to hold it if you like. I'm just going to kind of hold it with my hands while I stitch it.
Well, maybe we might have a clip, but... Or those like black paper clips are really nice.
Binder.
The binder clips, those ones. I don't know why they're called binder clips, because you clip your paper with them.
Hey, great news, Liz. Fiona, she actually just watches for the Liz comment.
Thanks,
There's
Fiona.
lots of them.
Are you married to Shrek? I'm sorry if you get that joke a lot, too.
Oh, do you get it? They ask you, are you married to Shrek?
Oh! No, but that's funny. Yes, I am.
Let's see. Joanne says, I missed the fringe cut. Did you cut a square piece, and what are the dimensions?
No, we'll talk about it when Clayton comes
Okay.
back so we can see it big.
Then if you need help cutting fringe or different ways to do it, we had that video with Denny cutting fringe, which was pretty good.
Okay, you're gonna go to the overhead?
Yeah.
So Clayton took the bag shape and he cut this same shape into just a piece. Like we had a piece of this leather left over that had a natural edge on it that actually lined up really nicely with the shape of the bag. So he cut this shape in, and then we fringed straight all the way up that shape, and then he just flipped it, inside and lined it up with the edge, and then you kind of have to bend it around the edge because then it's going the wrong way.
Correct.
But then when you flip it back inside out, it's fine. So, and then we just hand cut it. It's approximately, 11 inches long is how long our piece was. So, what I did is I put this bag on my shoulder. So, I mean, really the fringe is your call. I put this bag on my shoulder and I put my hand down to my leg, and I just measured the distance to the end of my fingertips, and I was like, hey, that seems like a good length for fringe. And that's where we made it.
That's how Liz has me make things. It's just as long as it's sized to her.
Yeah,
That's
that
right.
it's perfect.
All of our patterns are Liz size.
Yeah, exactly. Is there any other way to do anything?
Apparently not.
Okay, so I actually stitched a little bit past that 3/4 inch mark. I just wanted to make sure that zipper tape would stay down. But you can stop right there as long as you go over the teeth.
You want the teeth to be sewn down into that turn.
Correct.
Okay.
So then we're going to line this one up. Can you guys see how I'm kind of how I'm placing it on there. So again, the top grain or the finish side should go towards the nylon zipper tape. And it's going to line up with the edge.
And I'm really excited about how this little flap lined up. This pattern is really fun on here.
Yeah, that'll look good.
It's pretty good.
What if you had done a piece of that in some fringe?
Well, so this is kind of stiff, and so it wouldn't fringe as nicely as the Miracle.
What if you tumble it? What if you have a tumbler at home? Could you tumble your leather and then
I think the
soften
finish,
it up?
I think this particular leather would just come apart.
Oh, okay.
Like the finish would just come off if you tumbled it for any length of time.
Well, here was hoping.
Let's see if we can make this happen.
I have faith in you.
Thank you.
Hey, look, Spam Risk is calling me too.
You may answer it.
No, I'm good. I feel like people on the phone have been abused by you enough this week. We have so much fun here.
Something. One punny dad says everything that I make fits my wife. Well, hopefully she's list size and you can use this pattern.
Listen, make the fringe however long you want it. If you just want 3-inch fringe, just put 3-inch fringe. If you want, 2 feet of fringe.
3 foot?
Yeah, if you want 3 foot of fringe. So the only other thing that I would say is if you're making a longer strap, so the strap that goes with the pattern is just a shoulder strap. It's not a crossbody. But honestly, for me, I actually kind of want this in a longer. I never wear just a shoulder strap purse. I hate them. So I would rather have it as a crossbody bag. And then if you did that, you may not want your fringe quite as long, or maybe this would be about as long as you would want it if you did like a longer crossbody version. I don't know. It's your call. Or your client's call.
So once you have these sewn down, you can go ahead and trim off your excess zipper tape there.
I was wondering what you were doing with all that zipper tape.
Yep, and then you can just kind of melt the ends. All right. So that is pretty much your zipper gusset. There's one more thing we're going to do to it, and that's going to be stitching these ends together. So you're going to go back to your sewing machine, and you're going to stitch a pretty tight seam allowance. You'll have to trim off a bit, but about an 1/8 inch. You're going to stitch this end together, as well as this end, with that zipper tape kind of poking down. Right?
All right.
Oh, Liz muted her phone. A new,
She should have.
yeah, a new update. It's not working right for muting.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Liz, do you want to get to work gluing that strap?
Oh yeah, I can do that.
Fiona is not married to Shrek.
No, that's all right.
Lil Fear said Donkey is a Jar Jar Binks of Shrek. Whatever that means.
Yep.
I do love both of those characters.
Is that a Star Wars reference?
It sure is, Anthony. It sure is. A lot of people don't like Jar Jar Binks.
Nylon zipper, correct, Clayton?
Correct.
Okay.
You could do it with a number 5 zipper chain, like a brass zipper. You would probably want to cut the teeth and put a stop in. You're not going to want to stitch over that. Especially if you're using a sewing machine, you're going to probably break a needle. Not to say I haven't done it before.
Of course, you've never done that before.
Pretty bird. Would a hair on calf or cow work as an accent here? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And yes.
Depends on who you ask.
I think they're asking us, so what do you think?
They were, but would you, Clayton? Would you? I don't think you like working with hair on.
Hair on, it's not too bad. It depends on the project and what kind of edges it's going to have.
Well, these are all rolled in.
Well, except for the flap.
Oh, that's true.
And doing rolled edges on hair on is not it's not great sometimes. And then finishing the edges on, if it's not rolled, is not great either. If you're going to use hair on, bind your edges. It's a pain in the butt, but it looks so nice. And one thing I wish I brought was my X-Acto knife.
We have a runner
Where?
sitting in your chair. Or sometimes Melissa and Andy are watching. And
Shout out to Melissa or Andy, yeah.
Yeah.
Bring my X-Acto knife. I pretty much don't need it right now. But at this point, about through. So I'm just trimming away a little bit of the excess, especially at the top rolled edge there. Similar to how we did on the main body of the bag after we stitched it. The zipper gusset is going to get glued all the way around the rim. It's going to be so cool. One thing I like to do, we'll see how this printed suede holds up with it, but I'm going to hammer just a little bit. I'm going to lay that seam out flat and just tap on it to lay it flat. Not too bad. You want to be careful not to either split your stitching or damage the grain of your leather.
I was gonna say, if you did do hair on, just don't use it on the flap. Like, do a solid piece of whatever it is, or use something else. I almost thought about having Clayton put piping in the bag, but I didn't want to overcomplicate it. But this would have looked pretty good with a piece of this Navajo done in piping.
Alright, so before we do that gusset, we are going to go back and do the flap real quick. So she's already got it connected to our magnetic closure, just like the instructions show to do. And then we're going to fold it over to the back. We'll put a piece of basting tape on it here in a second. But you want to leave enough room
I'm sorry, I'm all
where
up.
the bag still opens just a little bit with the flap closed. This is kind of personal preference, but so we're talking maybe like an inch down from the edge. And a quarter inch. I'll just use some 1/4 inch basting tape again across the back of it. We're all glad Johnny's back.
Johnny!
Came back with a clean bill of health.
Yay.
All right, what do you think?
Looks good.
Does it look all right?
Yes.
That'll work. All right, so we'll keep that stuck down. Go over here and stitch it, probably with a couple lines of stitching. And this is where having a cylinder arm machine comes in handy.
Yeah, I feel like that'd be pretty difficult to do on a flatbed.
It's kind of a pain. It can be done. It's just a pain to keep it in the right position, you know, where you want it.
Chad, what's your lure?
What?
You want me to alert?
Well, I can't do it on your channel to see what yours is.
It's just exclamation mark word.
Yeah, I know that. What's the message that says? Brenda says, someday I'll try to put a zipper in a zipper, but I have a phobia. I've
Just-
got to
just-
overcome first.
Practice with, cheap stuff first. You've got some scrap leathers laying around. Zipper tape is really cheap. So just
It says something about chilling out and listening to music or something.
practice.
Razor blades. Why did the donkey cross the road?
Go on.
We're waiting to hear.
Because it was a zebra crossing. I don't know. I don't get it. Are we just dumb Americans?
That's a thinker right there.
Well, Tim's from Australia, so.
Chevy made my lure. Whatever the sunset is.
Because it was a zebra crossing?
I know that's what they call a crosswalk. But I guess he just figured he needed to cross because there was a crosswalk there. Just saw it and I had to go.
All right. So, do you know how to put that together there, Liz? It's your idea.
I just might let you do that. Something about a center line.
I guess it helped if I read that. Why didn't the donkey?
Oh, thank you. Why?
Yeah, so it was your fault.
Yeah, you did the joke wrong.
Tim, your jokes are much better when I read them right.
Oh, one more thread.
Should I just mark a line with a wing divider where I need to line it up on one side?
Yes.
Okay.
So you'll want to measure both strips. Do a little math if you want to.
So this one should be 3/4 of an inch. Yep.
Kind of. It's not a ruler.
It is a okay.
There.
It's kind of a ruler. It has
Half-inch
half
marks.
inch marks on it. And then this one is
Got it?
yeah.
All right. So we got our flap sewn on. Happy days. Next thing is we're going to stick our tabs in place. So we're going to stick some contact cement on both sides of our tabs towards the bottom. You can have these sticking out as much as you want or as little as you want. I'm going to leave about the top 1/2 inch to 5/8 sticking out of the bag without adhesive. And then we're going to put adhesive around the inside rim of this bag, so basically just trying to keep it on the rolled edge. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did to the zipper gusset. I'm going to tap these seams flat right at the top. This fringe is everywhere.
But it looks great. That's all that matters.
This is another situation where you really got to be kind of careful whenever you're gluing, which is why I'm doing it.
Man, all the burns today.
And you don't want to glue too high up on the rolled edge, because if you get it right at the top, you're going to end up with a bunch of adhesive showing on your bag.
Nobody wants that.
Nobody wants that.
That's why I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I've heard that, Clayton. When people get too high, and you gotta get the glue back off.
Exactly. Never happened to me before, but
No?
there are those that
I've had that problem.
kind of get out there. Yeah. I can't get enough. This is where you start to get a lot of glue on your hands.
Find yourself in a sticky situation.
Yeah. Good one, Liz.
Thanks. Okay, so do I just roll it over now and hope that it stays, or should I put a little bit of glue on that top edge?
Nope, you don't need to glue it.
Okay. Oh, that's what you're doing though, so I can't use your glue.
That's the thing about contact cement. You gotta put it on both surfaces for it to work.
Make sure I do a good job. Don't want to get glue everywhere.
Heck, you could even mark another line on your top strip there with wing dividers to make sure you don't glue over it.
I mean, you can mark the line, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to glue over it.
Fair point. Alright. Let that dry there. And now we're going to do the same thing to our zipper gusset. You're going to be gluing right along the back of that rolled edge you did, all the way around. We'll try not to forget to stick our tabs in when it's all tacky.
You do that. You do that. I feel like Bob Ross and his happy little trees.
Liz, do you know about the Heart of Texas leather trade show? That's one in Wichita Falls.
Could be. I don't know.
I know there's one restaurant went to down there.
Yeah, he goes to the... I don't know what it's called. That could very possibly be what it's called. Is it in Wichita Falls? Because then that's probably what it is.
We don't have a booth though.
No. Guys, we're not good at going to trade shows. We
For
go.
yourself.
We go to them, but we just don't like set up to sell. So you can usually find Rusty and Kevin or Rusty and Lindsay or sometimes some other people. Like I know Rusty will be going to Sheridan this year. Probably him and Lindsay. I don't know if anybody else is going at this point. But we just don't set up at them. Because how are we supposed to bring the store? You know, that's a lot.
That was a lot.
That's a lot.
Kevin would probably want to bring a bunch of rocks.
Then that's
Super
just
heavy. Yeah.
That's no fun.
So we just avoided the whole thing.
Denny's off for 2 weeks.
Yep, till the 1st of February.
He'll be off again, next week. Dean says catalog. Stinking catalog. Okay, I'll ship one out from here today, Dean, to you. Has anybody received a catalog? Anybody? Anybody at all?
I got mine.
That has not had it shipped from the store or with an order. If you got a catalog that came by its lonesome and didn't get it from SLC.
Alright, so I'm sticking my tabs in place right now. They go on either side of the bag, right on the corner seam.
Waco.
Which, you know, I really don't like where these go. This is where the instructions tell you to put them. This is probably the most difficult place to put them.
Where would you put them, Clayton?
I mean, really, you could put it just inside the corner seam to where they're kind of on the back on either side of the bag. I don't think there'd be anything wrong with that.
Or maybe across. Sometimes I see straps that go, one's on the front and one's on the back.
Could, yeah, you could do that. A little asymmetrical design there. But I'll show you why they kind of suck right there here in a second. Probably whenever I go to sew the zipper gusset in and I miss the zipper gusset.
Like he did on this bag.
Yep, sure did.
Had to do it again.
Yep, just put another stitch behind it.
That's really terrible to see.
Yeah, that's really bright.
You want to
Yeah.
turn down the brightness down a little bit? Liz?
I don't know how to do that.
We sold some of that waxy kind of oil tan.
We did.
Ouch.
We sold the bluebell.
Did you see the camera flash when it shocked me? Mm-mm. It happened.
It's still really bright. That's a little better.
So I'll show you what I was talking about. Whenever you put these tabs in here, so you're stitching from the outside, which we'll do here in a minute on this other bag, stitching around this and making sure that your inside gusset is lined up perfectly so you don't fall off on the inside. This stitch line right here, you look right there. There you go. You can see my stitching fell off. It looks terrible. So I had to do another line below it just to make sure that tab stayed in there. Just figure I'd go ahead and point that out to everybody before you did.
Good job. Before
it happens again. It's a thing that happens. It's kind of frustrating.
So you guys, even Clayton messes up sometimes. Maybe not. It's just a hard spot. It's a hard spot. I'll give you that.
I was just in a tight spot. Yeah.
It was a tight spot. Mm-hmm.
Between a rock and a hard place.
All right. I think this is probably tacky enough. We can go ahead and stick it in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start in the corners in that tight spot I was talking about, and we're going to make sure that these line up.
Can you work right here for me, please? Yeah. Thank you.
We're going to do our best to make sure these line up. So I'm going to stick it down. Man, I don't know if I've got enough adhesive on that side. And I'm going to try to get it level with where I think that outside one is. Maybe even just a hair higher. We'll stick it down a little bit and we'll look at it. Okay. So then looking at it from the side, I got it pretty darn level. I'm actually going to push it up just a hair so that the inside zipper gusset's a little bit higher than the outside. That's pretty close. We'll see if that works. And then I'm going to go ahead and stick a little bit around the edge here. And this, you just want these rolled edges to meet up and be flush. Again, you can, if one has to be higher than the other, make sure your zipper gusset's higher than the main body. Because you want to be able to stitch fairly close to the edge so that these rolled edges don't kind of start coming apart and showing adhesive on the inside. There we go. But not so close that you're going to miss the inside with your bottom stitch.
This sounds like a Goldilocks situation.
It's the reason I'm talking about it so much, because it has really frustrated me in the past. Yeah, it's coming along.
Right? It's going to be... There's not going to be a lot of pattern that will show, but I think it'll be just enough, and it's going to feel really, really good. Yeah, we did. We made this wider. The strap that it has you make is only like a 1/2 inch wide, which is fine if you just want a little tiny dainty strap, but we decided to do ours 3/4 of an inch, or maybe a little bit wider than that with the rolled edge, but...
Should fit Liz a little bit better.
Yeah, won't cut into my bones as much. 1/2 inch strap would.
Alright, we're coming out pretty close to matching up on the zipper gusset. Just a little bit of stretch on that exterior, and I think we're good on the front. Oh, that's always such a good feeling when your gussets match up.
Yes!
Yeah.
Success!
It's a terrible feeling whenever you get all the way around like some sort of big case or bag and your gusset's too long and you have to take it all off.
I feel like that happened with the gun caddy here a while, like the pistol caddy.
Yeah.
Making that.
That did happen.
That was a thing.
It wasn't me. But
That was Andy.
that was a good video for Andy to do. Yeah, that's going to look sweet. Originally, I was going to have this was a Navajo print. Mm-hmm. I was going to have it as the main body and then do all the trimmings in this Honey Miracle.
But he was late today, so I got my hands on the leather first, and I decided to do the opposite.
Switch it. Yeah, I'm glad you did. I think that's going to look good.
Yeah. It's just like a little flare, just a little bit. It's not overly loud.
Yep. Okay, so guys, this is the trickiest part of the bag. What I just showed you right there, getting your zipper gusset to match up, getting it glued in properly, and then when we're going to stitch it here in a minute, this is the worst part. And the only reason that is because you might fall off on the inside in those corners. But really, overall, it's not that bad.
Clayton can do it, you can do it.
Exactly. Alright, so we're going to start our stitch behind the flap. Alright, so that we can hide our lock stitch. It's kind of in the back. I try to start in the middle to where whenever I overlap, it'll be symmetrical. All that good stuff.
So maybe a little offset of center, actually, so that it's
Yes.
perfectly centered?
Correct.
Ah, there you go.
And you know what? I'm going to take a little bit of my own good advice. I am going to run around it with my wing divider to mark a stitch line. So you guys probably won't be able to see it. I'm just going to mark a very light line on the exterior. Something to follow. So hopefully it stays consistent all the way around. It's not being very cooperative.
Seems like a whole lot of fun.
Alright, that should help.
Can't hurt.
Nope, taking a little extra time is usually worth it.
Do you want me to go get an end punch for the strap so that we have nice ends?
That's up to you.
I think that's a good idea.
Okay. A little further than I wanted it to. Make sure we stay on the interior. Yeah, so not only are you wanting to make sure you're staying on that interior zipper gusset, but you're also having to try to walk over those strap hanger tabs. And so there's just kind of a lot going on in those corners. So it's best to really slow down and take your time through them.
How's it
I should
going?
drag all my snips over there. Can you hand me a pair of snips?
Nope, I can throw them at you though.
You're throwing other things at me today. I'm leaving.
I already apologized a lot of times.
Okay, let's see how we did. Hit it on that side. And we hit it on that side. Success.
Nice.
Did you get those from my table?
I sure did.
Did you grab my X-Acto knife?
No, did you need it again? I didn't even
I don't
think
know.
about it.
Looking at the strap, depending on how close I can stitch it, we might be able to trim away some of that.
Okay.
I don't know how much
I'm sure
time we
people
got.
would love to watch you trim.
Is that sarcasm?
No, it's actually, you're one of the best trimmers I've ever met, Clayton.
Okay. Oh, gee. Should have told her to grab a new blade, too. Tell Liz to get a new blade, Andy or Melissa, if you're watching. Get a new blade for that
They didn't
X-Acto.
bring us anything.
No, they didn't.
I don't know if I can see what you're doing. Well, maybe a little bit.
Well, I'll show you. Alright, so we hit it all the way around. Success, right? So I got it a little bit higher than the exterior, so we made sure it hit the interior zipper gusset on these corners where we walked over the tab. We got it fairly straight all the way around, so the stitching looks okay. Now we're just going to work on, we're going to burn these threads and then zip it up and kind of see if we can train the zipper gusset to lay flat.
Andy said that yours might be really dull, so he sent me with his, but I don't know if I believe him.
Okay.
So I brought both.
He's not watching, is he?
Melissa has it on.
But they're not watching.
Apparently
I don't know. She was sitting in her computer. Kind of looked like she was doing something.
Well, we hope she's working.
Suspicious.
Let's get this zipper tab fished back out. Come on.
Just I'm putting things away, tidying up the area.
Hey!
Thanks, Andy.
Thanks, Andy.
We have plenty of fresh blades, which is what you want when
Here,
you
why
do
don't you
that.
fight with that, and I'll
Okay.
sew the strap.
Am I trying to zip it up?
Yep.
Okay.
See if you can get that zipper out of there. Alright, that's cool.
Well, great job, Liz.
That was
Happy days.
It's a big fight that I just accomplished.
Phew! Now, what would you like next, Clayton? Hey, can you close the flap?
Did you know that I was magical?
Does the flap close?
No, probably doesn't.
So see if you can train that zipper gusset so it looks nice laying down. Just kind of gotta crease it and fold it in. You got this. So you wanted round ends?
I brought both of them. You have a choice. It's whatever you want to do.
We'll stick with it. We'll do an English tip. Matches the Navajo pattern better.
Angular. Yeah, that looks good. Who doesn't love fringe? Somebody didn't love fringe.
I don't love fringe.
All right, Chad doesn't love fringe. Can't be friends anymore.
But I don't mind if it's short. When it's long, I think that's fine.
This is the man that's probably never had to deal with fringe in his whole life, but it's
So with these, with the rolled edge or the bound edge or whatever on the strap, I cut an English chip, so I'm just going to trim off these corners right here, kind of at an angle like that, because if you stitch it, and these are just going to end up pulling up and kind of flapping in the wind.
Nobody likes flappy tips.
No.
Flappy what?
Tips, flappy tips. Right? That's no good.
Wow.
Children.
What happened?
Nothing.
Oh.
Tony, you want to show that up at the top? Just so
Sure.
people can look at that.
It was just having a zooming fit
Nice and
earlier,
dark.
so.
Yeah, it was.
Turns out I'm not the only one that doesn't like fringe.
This one's not symmetrical.
All right,
You
guys,
need to
focus.
trim it up a little bit more. Holly, you look like you're about ready to get on a motorcycle and go on a ride today.
Thank you.
I'm doing my best here, Liz. I don't know what to say.
Your head looks great.
Hold on. All right, good enough.
Okay.
All right, let's go ahead and stitch.
Let's see if I can do this joke right.
Okay.
What do you call a Mexican suitcase?
I don't know.
What'd you say, Holly?
I was repeating it.
Oh. Wrong. Wrong.
Wrong.
A quesadilla. A quesadilla.
Okay.
A quesadilla.
How we say it here in Missouri.
Oh boy.
Right? Quesadilla. That needle is moving so fast.
So fast. Yeah, we had our class 3. I don't know if that was when we had the Artisan 3000. We had it geared up enough where it would just smoke a needle. Sewing belts.
Smoke a needle.
Smoking needles.
Smoking needles. Oh, needle smoker. Kathy says she needs a tool that cuts fringe. Well, watch our fringe cutting video on YouTube, or you can find
There's
past one.
Yeah, rotary cutters are probably going to be your number one best friend when cutting fringe. It's just the Olfa or whatever rotary cutter you have at your local fabric store. Should work for you pretty well, but that's usually... Otherwise, you can buy dies, and we have bought a fringe cutting die before, and it was the most expensive thing for like this big of a die.
Yeah, it's pretty expensive.
Do you remember how many linear feet were on that die of blade? Cutting blade?
Oh, I don't know.
It was astronomical.
About 8 inches and maybe like,
Umpteen.
I don't know, 20 blades.
Yeah. There was a lot of linear feet of bladage on this little panel. So really hand cutting fringe is going to be the tool that you want. We have like a machine here that we can roller cut 6-inch long fringe, but that's as long as we can cut. If you're interested in that service, it's like $6 or $7 a linear foot plus the price of your leather.
Correct. So yeah, 1/4 inch wide strips. 6 inches long on the fringe, and we can do as long pieces as you need.
As long as a piece of leather that we can cut.
Yeah.
Anyways. I have a thought.
Okay.
Okay, so for me, I really hate that you can see this on the inside.
Yep.
So could you take a fun little piece of leather and glue it on the back and then sew like a little shape around here to make it hidden if you wanted to? I'm not asking you to necessarily do that on video right now, but I'm just saying if somebody wanted to cover up their magnetic clasp on the inside.
You mean like a patch?
Like a patch.
Or a pocket? You can make it a pocket.
But then you'd still see the...
Yeah.
Yeah, so like a patch.
Like a patch. Yeah, absolutely.
So anyways, guys,
For
if
sure.
you want to cover up those brads on the inside, if you don't want that showing, then you can just do a little patch and probably sew it down before you complete the bag, which would make it easiest. And you kind of have to make it big enough so that you get your foot around that clasp.
Yep. Okay, so looking at the strap, I don't know that I actually want to trim it. I'll trim it if you want me to, but
I think it looks all right.
it looks okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
close
don't get to
enough.
watch. Maybe you could do that on Friday. You could show them how to trim a
Binding. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can be frustrating for sure, and it takes some finesse. Okay, so let's mark our rivet holes with the pattern.
It's a little bit longer than
Yeah, that's fine. We're just going to mark the spacing for the rivet holes. So we'll just line up the tip here. Mark it there and there. And then we'll do the same thing for the other side. And it just rivets right onto the strap. You could put, I don't know, line 20 or line 24 snaps if you want it removable. Or whatever hardware suits you. Some trigger swivel snaps.
Yeah. Whatever you want to do.
Yep.
Oh, wait.
Punch.
Is that one too big? Whoops.
Rotary punch.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
Saved by the bell. Or the punch.
It's alright when I'm saved by the. It's alright when I'm saved by the.
We're special here.
Well, that was the intro for Saved by the Bell.
Was it? I didn't recognize that. Weird.
You're too young.
I was going to say, we're too young for you, Tony.
I got it.
Yeah,
Because you're old too, Jed.
you're old too. The 40 crowd, yeah.
You're talking to the 30s crowd over here.
Right.
You 40-year-olds.
Then you get to the babies. Like
Yeah, and then you've got the Hollies of the group.
Oh,
I'm super excited about this flap, Clayton. I'm really proud of the pattern. It looks really good.
So we got a question from Razor Blades. It has nothing to do with it.
Yes, sir.
It says, but Liz will be able to answer it.
Oh,
Tony,
cool.
did you watch the new Ghostbusters?
No.
Does it have princesses in it? Does it have horses in it? Probably haven't seen it.
I am missing a rivet cap somewhere. The correct size. Medium? Anybody see it? Anybody?
There's one.
There's one. I need
Did you have another one?
More. Well, I don't know. I didn't gather the hardware list.
I got a lot of parts.
I can use a bigger one if I need to.
Yeah, maybe just use 2 big ones.
Okay, guys.
There's a bottom. That's gold, though. Never mind.
So I'm going to go with a small rivet. Should work pretty well.
I tried to at least have 2 of each, but maybe I didn't.
Okay, my hardware organizer is not very organized.
It's not. It was a little difficult to find things.
Just use a larger cap on the inside and we'll be fine.
Plus, it's larger. It won't pull out. That's always good.
Dean wanted to know who was singing by entertaining us.
That'd be Tony.
All right, got it.
Hammer that down.
Yep.
Oh, we're good. Thanks. Now he's listening.
I know, right?
Andy.
Start poking at them and they start listening.
What are you going to do on Friday?
I don't know.
We're going to Zoom with you while you walk around Lisa.
I could do that.
There you go.
There it is, guys. The
That
Suburban Hobo.
Yeah, that one turned out way better than the first one.
Thursday, Friday morning.
We could also live with you guys in the van on the way down there, because that's going to be a thing. You could.
Fine.
You could, but I'll be busy.
Yeah, look at this bag. This is gorgeous, y'all. Everybody should make one of these.
It's gonna. I think that one. I think
Oh.
both of those are gonna be on the cover.
Yeah, we're gonna update this pattern a little bit, make it a little more 21st century.
So we did last week, Liz. That one Clayton has. We did that in the live shopping. We sold a piece of leather that was like that. So if you heated it up, or as you wear it, that wax will wear off of it.
Yeah. Got that. Got the
Pretty
fun
cool.
strap. Everybody loving this? I'm super loving this.
What time is it? Did we
It
make
took
it?
an hour and 40 minutes.
Really?
Yep.
Oh,
All
wow.
right, well, I thought I could do it quicker, but that's all right.
Well,
Not
she's
too bad.
done. Yeah, cool. Well, I
Hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, hope everybody is all about the Suburban Hobo now, despite its antiquity.
Put some fringe on it. Now
Yeah,
it's 2022.
exactly. We're back to the 70s.
Well done.
Boom. All right. So now Clayton's going to put a little patch on here. A little decorative stitch that hopefully he catches from the outside.
We'll cover that in the next video. Absolutely.
That's what we're going to do on Friday.
I was going to say, we'll see what happens on Friday. I will not be here because I will be in Wisa, but maybe we'll join in and do something fun. I don't know. We'll try to figure it out. It'll
If
be
we haven't
interesting.
wasted enough of your day and you're watching live, join us on Twitch.
Yeah.
Oh,
Come hang out with us on Twitch. We'll be chilling there for a little bit. So, all right. Well, we'll see you guys later. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.